All right, welcome everyone. Today we are diving into something that's, well, it's tough, but it's so important. We're going to use some insights from Ritu Ki Diary to really look at the signs of a relationship that costs you way more than it's worth.
So let's just start with this one question, because it gets right to the heart of everything. Just take a second and really think about it. Is your relationship giving you more pain than peace? Because that gut feeling you get, that's probably the answer. And it's a sign you really shouldn't ignore.
So what do we actually mean by a nonsense relationship? I know, it's a really strong term, but our source, Ritu Ki Diary, uses it for a reason. So let's break down what it really is.
Okay, think of it this way. It's a connection where you are just constantly making emotional withdrawals, but there are zero deposits coming in. It's not just, a bad week or a rough patch. It's a deep down imbalance that just leaves you feeling completely drained, emotionally bankrupt, really.
Wow, that image is pretty intense, right? And it's intense for a reason. The source uses this to point out a really painful truth. When you stay in a relationship that you know is hurting you, you're the one holding the axe. It's a powerful way to think about the choice you're making every single day you decide to stay.
So how do you even spot one of these relationships? Well, the first and maybe the biggest red flag is when the whole thing is built on a lie. I mean, if a relationship starts with deception, it's basically built on a foundation of sand. And we're talking about the huge stuff here, like discovering your partner has a secret family, or they're already married. I mean, when a relationship is born from a betrayal that big, there's just no way to build a future on those shattered pieces of trust.
And just look at the simple logic here. They say, I'll leave them for you. But the reality is, if someone can betray a commitment to be with you, what on earth makes you think they won't do the exact same thing to you down the line? It's the pattern of their behavior that tells the real story, not the pretty words they're saying.
Now, deception isn't always as obvious as a secret spouse. The next red flag is a lot more sneaky. It's emotional exploitation. And this is when your own feelings, your own love, are basically used as a weapon against you.
And here's a really tough truth from our source. Your greatest strength, your ability to love so deeply, can actually be twisted into your biggest weakness. In a toxic relationship, your empathy, your kindness, it just becomes a handle for someone else to grab onto for their own benefit.
And you can actually see how this cycle works. Step 1, they know you care. A lot. So step 2, they just keep creating crises. Maybe it's money, maybe it's some emotional drama, you name it. Then, step 3, you, being the loving partner you are, you rush in to fix it. And the result, you end up totally drained and they've gotten exactly what they wanted. You've stopped being a partner and started being, well, a resource. This whole pattern of taking and not giving, it usually blows up when it's time for some real commitment. And that's when you hit the next big red flag, the never-ending stream of excuses.
So you really have to listen to the type of excuses. The source is so clear on this, when someone starts throwing up these outside problems like, my family won't agree, it's almost always a smokescreen. They aren't real obstacles that you two can solve together, they're walls they're building to keep you at a distance.
And here's the bottom line, really. Someone who truly loves you is going to be in the fight with you, trying to find solutions. But someone who doesn't, they'll just keep pointing out all the reasons why it can't possibly work. They present problems, they don't solve them.
So, if any of this is starting to sound a little too familiar, this next part is for you. Because Ritu Ki Diary doesn't just point out the problem, it shows you the way out. And it all starts by making a really brave choice. The choice to finally put yourself first.
And let's be totally honest. Leaving is going to be hard. It's going to hurt. But the source asks us to really think about the alternative. Because staying is its own kind of pain. It's this slow, daily chipping away at your spirit. Think of it like the sharp, clean pain of surgery that leads to healing versus the dull, constant ache of a wound that's just left to get worse.
Staying isn't a safe bet. It has real consequences. Our source spells them out. You'll get disrespect, you're in a relationship with no future, and they'll probably leave you anyway when you're no longer useful to them. So let's try to see this differently. Leaving isn't giving up. It's taking your power back. This, right here, this is the mental shift that changes absolutely everything. You have to see walking away not as a failure, but as the ultimate act of self-respect. It's you finally looking at yourself and saying, you know what? I am worth so much more than this. And this is what it's all about, isn't it? Finding a love that's a real partnership, not some kind of transaction. A love that builds you up, not one that drains you dry. And that's the kind of love you're making space for in your life when you choose to walk away from what's been hurting you.
So we'll end on this final thought from the source. Maybe the journey isn't just about finding the right person. Maybe it's about becoming the person who won't settle for the wrong one.